After all, you're a Croft.
I don't think I'm that kind of Croft.
Sure you are. You just don't know it yet.
Lara Croft is one of the most iconic female heroines in gaming, known for her fearless spirit, knack for adventure, and huge heart. Crystal Dynamics is no stranger to these games, but instead of continuing the current gen pattern, they decided to take a look back at what made Lara the daring Tomb Raider we all know and love. The look, feel, and even the voice actors were all changed to make room for a completely rebooted Tomb Raider. But is it enough to breathe new life into the franchise?
Mayday! Mayday! This is Lara Craft of the Endurance. We are stranded on an island in the Dragon's Triangle. We need help and medical supplies. Please respond.
It's Lara's metamorphosis of running away from guys with guns to running towards guys with guns that becomes the plot point you invest interest in the most. Subtleties of Lara voicing constant reassurance to herself and her sporadic breathing fluctuate throughout the campaign, and change from fearful to determined as you move through the chapters. Even though she goes from this
Oh, God!
to this
Run, you bastard! I'm coming for you all!
relatively quickly, it keeps the concept from dragging on. The overarching dilemma of your shipmates, whose names escape me, I want to say this guy's name is Pumbaa, is less enticing. The whole crashing on an island, discovering an ancient secret you must overcome in order to leave, ends up as expected. Still, the voice cast keeps it lively, and Camilla Luddington's voice melds properly with the new Lara Croft.
You're searching for logic and reason where there is none. I made the same mistake once.
This reboot came with a new coat of paint, resulting in quite a graphical beauty. You will find no reprieve from perpetually overlooking a cliff, but the stunning detail put into the environment will make it an agreeable interruption. Distinct textures and lighting enhance the wariness of traveling into a dark cave, or the bliss of zooming across the hillside. It's the abundant set pieces that bring it all together, as a blaring original soundtrack heightens the tension of climbing to escape a collapsing structure. Every splinter of wood or metal bar that flies by your head as machine gun fire peppers your path shows the attention to detail in making this game visually and audibly spectacular.
Move in! Right! He's just one girl! One girl! He's kicking our ass!
Tomb Raider relies on the unpredictable to keep gameplay engaging. Entering a new region along your linear path could result in platforming, a shootout, or a set piece, each enjoyable in its own right and never outstaying its welcome. Gradual unlocks of new gear or weaponry provide healthy variety in how you dispatch your adversaries or traverse a piece of terrain. Both feel comfortable and are easy to get the hang of, with seamless transitions to cover and single-button mobility. The aspect that bothered me the most were the QuickTime events. These will hit you fast, and difficulty in determining timing will result in one of the more out-of-place, shockingly gory death sequences in a third-person shooter. They rank up there with Dead Space, but at least Isaac had a helmet on for most of his misfortune.
I hate tombs.
Despite running along a linear path, Tomb Raider does not feel confined to consecutive hallways and boxed rooms. Exploration of each area reveals a slew of collectibles, optional challenges, and even hidden tombs that are clearly marked on the wall with big arrows. These tombs typically contain one room where you must solve a physics puzzle to obtain the treasure within. There's only one tomb that made me stop and think for a second, but the others are relatively short and simple to solve. Regardless of your task, you're rewarded with scrap metal that can be used to upgrade weapons with a better firing rate or alternate firing modes. Actions also gain experience, and each level will grant you a skill point. Despite branching into 3 areas of focus, you'll generally gain enough to fill all 3 by the game's conclusion.
Alright, you bastard, let's see what you got.
Following the pattern of most single-player focused games, a competitive multiplayer is also available. It contains what you would typically expect, 4 survivors versus 4 scavengers in a slightly altered capture-the-flag, deathmatch, and King of the Hill game types. The interesting facet in each map is the ability to rig traps for your enemies, involving tripwires or pressure plates that you can lure your opponent into to gain the upper hand. There are a few subtle differences between factions, but they are shoveled with each round, offering equal time on both sides. The mode also comes complete with unlockable character models, weapon modifications, and player loadouts. It's fun to play around with, but feels like a very cookie-cutter model of a competitive multiplayer.
There are no heroes here, only survivors.
Crystal Dynamics took a risk in going back to the beginning, but it's one that paid off. Tomb Raider looks and feels like the adventure game that Lara Croft deserves. Just when you thought you've played the most thrilling sequence in the game, you turn the corner and find one that's even better. Frantic shootouts, massive collapsing structures, and relentless foes push Lara in every chapter, and you find that as her resolve strengthens, so does your determination to see her through to the end.